there's been a lot of discussion about a rookie for this team, that people want him to start, and people want to know that he's starting, and they want a parade, an announcement of starterdom. Okay?
Is that a word?
Nope. Of course, I'm talking about Brandon Coleman.
Of course. Who else would we be talking about?
He was there today. Take me through it.
Yeah, I think today was the first kind of significant step for Brandon Coleman. He was taking all of the reps at starting left tackle. And I think more importantly, you saw Cornelius Lucas taking some starting reps at right tackle. So you're seeing a progression for both Cornelius, Brandon Coleman, and Andrew Wiley about how they want to kind of test out this tackle situation. And listen, I think Brandon Coleman's looked quite good in camp so far. Of course, a lot of that in shorts and a t-shirt, so you can only take so much from it. Today in the full pads, he looked good taking on any sort of power rush or rush at him. He struggled a little bit with some of the speed to the outside, but he's a rookie. He's getting used to what that speed looks like in the NFL. And Dante Fowler is one of those guys that's super quick off the ball and has given him a couple of issues along the way. But he's a third round rookie, and it's going to take a little time for him to get settled in and learn how to play that position and deal with the different kind of rushers that the NFL gives you.
How realistic is it that he's left tackle week 1 against Tampa? We can go around the room on that, because I'll start, and for this hypothetical conversation, we're assuming no injuries, right? Like, of course. That's just kind of the conversation here. They drafted him to be the left tackle. They now got him at left tackle. Day 1 in pads. I think it's 75, 80% that's your left tackle week 1.
Yeah, maybe I'm not going to go percentage-wise, but I think it's very realistic that he is. And as we get to more padded practices, and just like you guys were talking about with Jaden and getting starting reps against the Jets and the Dolphins, I think it's going to be important for Brandon Coleman to do the same thing. I think it's realistic with the lean towards likely.
I think they want him to be it, but it's going to come down to how he handles it and picks it up. If it goes based off of the plan, he's starting. But we know football doesn't go based off of plan.
Sure.
Yeah, I think they want him to be. So I think they're going to give him every opportunity. If he earns it, he'll get it.
I like his footwork a lot, and I think that is sometimes the hardest thing for rookies to adjust, is how quick they got to move their feet. And then B, I know what drove you nuts with Leno was that he would hinge at his hips. Coleman seems really fluid in his hips already, and that's probably some of the athletic stuff that drew them to him. And I think that stuff can translate and get better.
He squats well. Like he bends his knees and not his hip, not his waist, which is super important for any O-lineman, hell, any football player really. And what I like most about it is that he just swallows up rushers. When guys try to rush through him or even to the inside of him, he just swallows them up and doesn't give him a chance. And there were a couple that when they were doing the run period plays where he was cracking down or blocking down on a D tackle, and he would just clear out the entire left side of that, or right side of the defense, left side of the offense, and give those running backs just a massive hole. And he's able to both crash down on that D end or D tackle, and also make his way to the second level, which speaks to his speed and his footwork, and that high RAS score. That these things all look good in shorts and a t-shirt, but it's a different game once you put pads on and you have to kind of match the punch to the athleticism, to the feet, and keep it going. And today he did a very good job with it, and it gave him a good base to build off of.
Yeah, I think sometimes guys may not step exactly how the coach wants them to step, but they're just athletic enough to get there, and to be strong enough. Strength normally bothers young guys here more than it does anything, because they get bull rushed all the time. And if a defensive end can bull rush you, he can do whatever he wants to you, because he'll start the bull rush and then go right past you. The fact that he can hold up on the bull rush will enable him to be able to set a little bit, but he has to be understanding that he got to push the guy past. If he gets that down, he's okay to go.
I agree with you. I think it's a pretty interesting track there at left tackle for Coleman. It's his job to lose, I would almost say. And maybe that's too much of a statement on July 29th, the first day of pads with a rookie left tackle. But, similar to Jaden, I think whether they want to force it to be Jaden or not, like you drafted him, it's going to be him. I think Jaden's the best quarterback here already. I think Coleman might be the best tackle. Like, and I don't
know if I can go there yet.
I'm not saying
it's too early to say that yet, but
I
think Jaden,
it's trending in that direction.
Jaden in a position to where you can force it to be him.
Right.
Listen, we talked on the podcast.
Drafted like that.
We talked on the podcast last night or yesterday about the quarterback competition being a competition charade, which largely I think it is. I don't know there are many people out there that expect Mariota is going to be your week 1 starter.
Right.
I think there is real competition at left tackle, left guard,
so the left
and
guard was
right
the one I
tackle.
wanted to bring up.
And that was Michael Dieter has, I don't want to say he's taken over for Nick Allegretti at left guard, but certainly most of the practice on what day is today? Monday. It's on Friday, Saturday, whatever.
Today's Monday.
Yeah,
Sunday.
The past 2 practices, Michael Dieter's taken most of those first reps at left guard. And yesterday, when Andrew Wiley was sitting out and Dieter was in there, I thought it might have just been a little bit of the coaches getting some different views and see kind of where guys are. But today being the first day in pads, which is the first real big day for O&D line.
And Wiley was back.
And Big Luke was starting on the right side. I just think there are 3 positions that are up for grabs on this O-line. And I think it's fair for fans to have some consternation about what this group is going to look like at the end of the day. But at the end, an offensive line isn't the individual parts. It's the sum of the parts. And
Totally.
it's how the 5 guys work together. And even if they do have a weakness in one of the two tackle spots, part of the problem last year was that they had weaknesses across the board and you couldn't send help to everybody. So they had to pick and choose where they were going to allow themselves to be weak at. If you know that either at right or at left you have an issue, you can send a chipping running back. You can have a tight end stay in. You can do different things to help that guy out. And I just think between some of the parts this year, the improvements with having Tyler Biotish at center and bringing in some more experienced guys to play guard, I just think the sum of the parts is going to be better this year than it was last year.
I mean, you certainly hope so, right? What do you think of the possible? I think it could be a legitimate competition at right tackle with Wiley and Big Luke.
Yeah, I love it. I mean,
just kind of the overall competition between those 3: Coleman, Lucas, Wiley, and 2 starting spots. Anyway.
Right, and I think that's an interesting place because if you have a guy,
but isn't that what the coach said? Competition.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Like you should.
I mean, I'm happy to be saying it.
It's funny because almost similar to the quarterback situation, fans don't want a competition because they want it declared who your guy is. But it's not always easiest to know who's going to be best in what system until you start seeing them play in it.
Yeah, when he was talking earlier, he said how we may try something and then we may basically trash it because it didn't work. But what if it does work? You know, and I think that's what you find out right now in this whole competition thing because, you know, in all my life, when you make people compete against each other, you find out who's the damn best. And as an offense, we talk about the quarterback. I think the offensive line probably is as important as the damn quarterback because if that quarterback can't get protection, he can't perform.
Well, and I don't think we've talked almost at all about Trent Scott, who is the 4th tackle in camp.
Big dude.
He's a big dude. And listen, if Big Luke beats out Wiley on the right for right tackle, is there a chance that they try Wiley out at left guard, which has been one of the things that JP has brought up for a while? I think there's different machinations of what this offensive line is going to look like. And to sit here today and say, who the starting 5 are going to be, or that they're going to be good or bad is just way too premature because we just don't know who's going to end up playing where.
I agree with all that. Mitch Tischler joining us here on, I guess you're not really on the BetQL guest line because you're sitting here in the tent, but
I can step outside and make a phone call.
Everybody should check out BetQL anyway. Brian and I talked about him a little bit earlier this morning. The kid Owens, the safety from Texas Tech, the undrafted kid. I know you really like him. What has caught your eye there?
Yeah, he's a guy who has really good ball skills, I would say. The coaches have the refs out here, and before today, I didn't see much from him today in the padded stuff, but before today, they're throwing a lot of go balls, especially with the opportunity with the refs to kind of let the guys see what kind of handsiness the DBs are going to be able to get away with. And he was just a safety that he was playing free safety, and he did a really good job all week of kind of getting over the top and meeting balls at the high point and breaking up passes. And he was able to do that without drawing the PI penalties that are so rampant in the NFL now. And he's a big body, and we know what Dan Quinn has done with big body safeties before. And, you know, everyone wanted to talk about the kid they drafted out of Oregon, Washington. Sorry. But Tyler Owens is another big body safety who's been looking pretty good.
I agree with that. I think it's been pretty fun watching this thing develop, and I'm really looking forward to getting up to Jersey. I think that Jets team is pretty darn good. D-line, has anybody stood out to you today kind of as the first real time to watch those guys? I said it, and this is not breaking news, but like that first rep was a reminder that Allen and Payne can be pretty significant badasses when they want to be.
I don't think if we get that, we'll see a damn defense that can play great.
Right.
It's a daily rite of camp that the first day in pads, Allen and Payne go out and just kick everybody's ass up and down the field. To me,
now it's important. You pointed it out earlier.
It's important that it happens during the season.
Right.
Yes, and consistently as well.
Yes.
Well, and after practice, Johnny Newton, who hasn't done any 11-on-11 or done much physical stuff yet, Dan Quinn actually took him over there with a couple of with Mason Brooks and a couple of the other guards and tackles, and had him working through double teams on the side field after practice. And so they're clearly starting to ramp Johnny Newton up a little bit, which I think will help out a bunch. But D-line, I think you're going to see Dorrance Armstrong and Cleveland Farrell be kind of your starting ends.
That's what I got.
And Dante Fowler just brings a rush to the table that other players in this camp don't. His speed and ability to get around the edge and get low and turn a corner is just really impressive to watch, especially when he ends up going against some of the second and third team tackles who he's able to just, embarrass getting around the edge. And there are a couple times today that he would have gotten, and that we've seen a couple other days in practice, he would have just gotten clear shot at the ball with the quarterback still holding it.
And Luvu rushes from all positions.
Luvu's so impressive.
He's instant. He reminds me a lot of Mikey. When you watch him, those guys play, it's no hesitation. It's like when they decide to go, they get going. Like the drag race cars where they just take off, they go. That's how they are. And you like that. They have no wasted movement.
Dan Quinn.
I thought Chin, too. Now, he's playing a level back, right? But Chin gets moving downhill. He's going to thump you.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, when he's running, it sounds like a damn
thundering herd of buffalo.
Yeah, dude. Like just the physical movement. When
that's not real good to be doing with all that damn dust down there.
Yeah.
But you would think the D lineman and O lineman would be like a herd of buffalo or whatever it may be, but they're not like running outright during a play. But Jeremy Chin, when he's back at safety and attacking the line, you can hear him coming from a mile away.
Oh, yeah. He's a big fella.
Bring the thump.
Dan Quinn talked about Jordan McGee yesterday and kind of his speed in small places and in tight windows. And I think when you bring up Frankie Luvu, that's something that kind of that sticks out because he's just he's in a spot and then he's gone, and you see him around the football constantly, and he's able to bring bull rushes to these interior O linemen and push them back.
See, sometimes you get drafted from a certain school, you automatically get chances. Other guys got to get into the equipment and then show the coach, hey, you need to look over here too, and that's what McGee's doing.
Why would you ever give anyone a chance from Louisiana Lafayette?
I'm just saying, bro. That's all they do.
It was Southeastern Louisiana.
Yeah, but
back then.
A lot of people get drafted because of their school. They don't stay there because of their school too, because they were complacent.
What do they tell you? Don't scout the helmet, right?
Yeah, you do. Scout the heart. Scout the heart, brother.
I think McGee. I don't think they have much depth at linebacker, right? You got Wack. Think about what they did since they got here. They signed 3, drafted 1, right?
It's the most improved individual position in the NFL.
That may be 4 people.
Right.
And you get 1 or 2 more, they're good.
So if you look at the linebacker position, it's premature for this. And for whatever reason, he's a lightning rod, even though he's played fairly well the last 2 seasons. The rookie year was bad. I don't know that he got a ton of coaching. But you look at the linebacker room, Luvu, Wagner, McGee are locks. They just signed 2 of them. They just drafted the other one, right? The kid Pittman, they signed. This front office signed from Detroit. And he's a special teams guy. And you got this new kickoff rule, so you want guys you can trust, right? That's 4. Then you've got Keandre Jones, the Terp, who just keeps making plays. You got the kid Bauer from Notre Dame.
You're starting to scout the helmet.
I'm not. He's an undrafted big kid that runs downhill. I don't know what he's got, but like, if Jamin's a backer, he needs to be ahead of Pittman on that depth chart. If Jamin's a DN, when we talk about these pass rushers, we never really bring him into that equation. We talk about Armstrong, Fowler, Farrell, Jones, Henry.
Hold on. Have you seen Jamin Davis take a rep at linebacker?
No.
He's not a linebacker. He's a defensive end.
But what's the path to a roster spot?
I think you said it. I think you made the point.
Like, it's
We'll see, brother.
they have no. But my point is, because of the lack of depth at linebacker, like, injuries occur. We got 3 preseason.
How many
games,
linebackers they normally keep?
4-ish.
But they only played 1 or 2 at a time last year.
Name 4 people. Okay, how much depth do they need at linebacker? And who said they can't find it with someone here?
I think some of these guys are prime practice squad candidates too.
I understand that, but I'm saying, like, you name Wagner, Louvu, McGee, Pittman. That's 4.
Yeah.
All right. And you may be able to find somebody else in there.
Sure.
And I mean, we already have written. Not we. A lot of people have written off Jamin. We don't know for sure what their plans are with him.
I don't know what their plans are for him, but if it revolves around him being a defensive end, I don't think that there's a real path to the roster for him unless they keep him as a flyer and hope that he improves dramatically.
And if he doesn't make the roster, whoop de damn do. If he ain't good enough, he ain't good enough. Right, I don't care if he makes it. But
it's just a further.
What are the 4 people that we think can play linebacker? We name those.
Right.
They need to have two others that are legitimate that could probably play. Remember, there are going to be other people getting cut off of other teams that they probably are looking at right now.
It's just a further condemnation of everything that Ron did. Ron did in the draft.
Let's forget about it. Ron. Let's just move on, move forward.
But you have a really athletic, size, speed freak here. You'd like to think there's a place, and as you project this out and start doing the math, it gets harder and harder to find a space.